All right, Real Madrid tied the first game of the Club World Cup 1-1 to Al Hilal. One goal from Gonzalo Garcia and one goal from Ruben Neves from a penalty. And as a neutral, mostly hate watching Real Madrid, as you can tell from the flag behind me. I actually enjoyed the game a lot. I thought it was a great game. I was going into this match expecting Real Madrid to be all over Al Hilal, completely dominating them and showing them the different type of level of football that it is in Europe compared to the Saudi league. Because when we compare them, they're not the same level. But Al Hilal put up a dogfight. They did amazing today. In that first half, they were completely all over Real Madrid. Real Madrid were under pressure, and then Real Madrid get one counterattack. They go up by one, and then later, towards the end of the first half, they get a penalty. Ruben Neves scores, and they go into the second half 1-1. In the second half, completely different story. Real Madrid were all over them. Al Hilal were defending for their lives, and in the end, it ended 1-1, a fair result. Is it weird to say that as a Barcelona fan, I was actually, pretty eager to watch this first match from Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso, because as much as I want to hate on Real Madrid and hate on Xabi Alonso and hate on the players that they have, I can appreciate football. And we already know that Xabi Alonso, what the little that he's already managed throughout Europe, he's done a great job. With Leverkusen, he's done an amazing job with them. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he implements that football into this Real Madrid side with, you could say, definitely a better group of players than what he had at Leverkusen, right? So, I was, pretty eager to see, what is he cooking up? What is he going to do with this new group of players, especially with the two great players that they just brought in, with the likes of Huijsen and Trent Alexander-Arnold. As much as I despise that they're playing for Real Madrid and hate that they're playing for Real Madrid because they're great players, they're going to go up against us. I hate it so much. I appreciate them as footballers, especially Trent. Trent is such a generational talent. We already seen for years now what this guy is capable of, and unfortunately, he's going to be playing for the biggest rivals on my club, so it's going to suck going up against them, but I can definitely appreciate the footballer that he is. Huijsen, I'm not going to lie and tell you guys that I've been watching this guy week in, week out for months now, for years now, under Bournemouth. But I can say the little I've seen from him, especially in the Spanish national team, this guy is a gem. I can't even lie. Even this game today even proved it even more, that this guy is going to be such a fundamental part to Real Madrid's defense going into the future, because he's very young. He's only 20 years old, and this guy is already showing such a high level. It's honestly insane. So as much as I want to hate, I can appreciate at least the football aspect of it. Before the game even started, I want to ask one question. Why were the players coming out and being announced like if they were WWE superstars? What was the point of that? I really don't understand why they were all coming out individually. The whole stadium, just waiting for the team to come out. But you see one by one them coming out and being announced to the whole stadium. It made no sense to me. Like, what was the point of that? Why can't they just come out as a team, make things quicker? Like, I don't know. It was pretty weird if you ask me. But yeah, in that first half, Real Madrid was struggling. They struggled a lot in that first half. Their press was pretty bad in that first half. I think Thibaut Courtois explained it, the best. Him saying that they were still playing Carlo Ancelotti type of football. In 4 days, they're not going to do enough, implement the style that Xabi Alonso wants them to play, which is true. We're not going to expect any immediate change. He needs time, especially when we consider they don't have their full squad. It's going to be very interesting what Xabi Alonso is going to cook up when they get their whole squad back. They're missing a lot of key players, like Mbappe couldn't play because he had a fever. They're still missing the likes of Carvajal, Rudiger, Militao. It's going to be interesting what kind of setup Xabi Alonso, decides to go with, what kind of team he decides to go with as his strongest team to go up against the best sides in Europe. It's going to be very interesting because he has a lot of players to choose from. And all I can say is that there are definitely some that are guaranteed for sure. Like the likes of Huijsen, I can tell you in the defense, he has to be guaranteed. I don't care how much, credit in the bank Militao has. He has to be the main starter now. Huijsen has to be the main guy because this guy today was sensational. He was another great performance from him. Like, this guy is... I hate saying he's a Barcelona fan, but he's a great player. He's such a great defender. He is such like a Barca-made kind of defender because this guy on the ball is so good, bro. Like, this guy, his line-breaking passes was just amazing. Because one thing I can also give credit to another player is the likes of Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham was getting open in a lot of areas. That little 10 role that he was playing, he's playing a lot throughout the midfield, but he was playing that 10 role, being a little bit more forward, and he got in a lot of spaces where he was just completely alone, and Huijsen would find them easily. And then, Jude Bellingham would get the ball, make the half turn, and go. I would say, it's a good position for Jude Bellingham, but I would say the likes of Arda Güler would be better in that position. Him grabbing the ball from that position and making the half turn, I think Arda Güler would do better than Jude Bellingham there, but, we'll see what Xabi Alonso decides. But, yeah, Huijsen is, man, that guy is great. But, yeah, we're going to see in the future what Xabi Alonso decides to go with. But in that first half, Hilal were just completely, just all over Real Madrid. They were attacking a lot on the left side with Renan Lodi, Aldo Barci. Trent was struggling a little bit, and a lot of the threats came from the left side and not the right side, which is confusing to me because you are going up against Fran Garcia. You have the likes of Malcolm and João Cancelo, who João Cancelo is basically another right winger for you because he's such a baller. I don't understand why they weren't playing a lot more on the right side as well, but all right, but Malcolm at the same time just had a terrible match. I forgot he was even playing at times because he did absolutely nothing. João Cancelo a little bit, but again, they were just playing mostly on the left side. But then Real Madrid, you give them one counterattack and you're cooked. You can't give them a counterattack, and that's exactly what Hilal did. You got to give a lot of credit to Gonzalo Garcia because he's the one that initiated the attack in the counterattack, but still, Hilal just didn't defend it well. Gonzalo Garcia gets the ball, drives the ball forward. He gives it to, I think, Federico Valverde, and then he sends Rodrigo. Rodrigo drives the ball forward, and Gonzalo Garcia makes the run from his own half all the way to the other side, to the other box, and just, gets into perfect position onside, and Rodrigo just sets him up perfectly. And, a little bit of love for Gonzalo Garcia because it hits his other foot and it goes in because, he pretty much took a bad shot there. A little bit of luck, but you got to give him so much credit because he's the one that initiated the attack, initiated the play, and, ended the play. So much credit for him for that goal. But, yeah, Hilal, unfortunate for them because they were all over Real Madrid. But, that's what you get when you're playing against Real Madrid. You can't give them a counterattack. But then fortunately for them, before the first half ended, they get a penalty from a foul on Leonardo from Raul Asensio, which when you look at that playback in slow motion is honestly hilarious because it looks like two little kids trying to fight for the ball, kicking the ball around, but then Raul Asensio pulls him back. It was actually kind of funny. But yeah, Raul Asensio, I don't understand why he would pull him back like that. But yeah, penalty for Al Hilal. Ruben Neves steps up, completely sends Courtois, scores it, boom, 1-1 going into the second half. And again, in that second half, which is a completely different story because Real Madrid were just all over Al Hilal. Al Hilal couldn't find any single type of response in that second half. Like anytime they try to get out their own half, they couldn't, honestly. They could barely get out their own half. Anytime they did, they fucked up every single attack because Real Madrid would just immediately, recover, or their players up top are just not the best quality. Like, again, Leonardo, he's shit, and I hate saying that because my name's Leonardo, so I'm basically calling myself shit. But he is shit. Like, he had so many opportunities and messed up every single one. Aldo Barci, all right, decent. He had some good plays, but he's just so like one-footed. Like, he always would just cut it and try to shoot with his right. Like, he barely would try to go with his left. Like, he had multiple opportunities where he could have drove in with his left foot and tried something with that, but he just always cut in, and it was so predictable. And again, Malcolm just, I don't know what he was doing. The players I could give credit to, Al Hilal or Ruben Neves and Milinkovic Savic, if I said that name right. João Cancelo did all right. Koulibaly did pretty decent as well. Some players, not every single player did great, but in that second half, Al Hilal defended a lot more than they did, going forward. And Real Madrid were just all over them. Arda Güler comes in straight into the second half for Raul Asensio. Arda Güler, creates a good impact, almost gets a goal immediately into that second half when Vinicius Jr. puts in a great ball for him. He hits the crossbar. Vinicius Jr. gets it back and he crosses it in for Gonzalo Garcia, who wins the header over Koulibaly. He actually won a couple headers today, which was honestly surprising because when you're going up against Koulibaly, you expect Koulibaly to, bitch you every single time. But Gonzalo Garcia was actually beating him a lot. And I was only surprised for that because if you want to beat him for hops, like, okay, Gonzalo Garcia got some hops on him. If you can beat him with hops, okay. But in physicality, that's a different question. That's a different thing. And Gonzalo Garcia was beating him. And I was like, all right. Credit to him. Good credit to him. He had a decent match. For his first match for Real Madrid, decent match. I mean, I'm not sure it was his first match for the first team, but the first time I've seen him play, he did pretty good. Vinicius Jr., I genuinely don't understand what is wrong with this guy. I'm not even giving it to the fact that it's a new manager. No, like, if you're a superstar, you step up in any single moment. Like, if you're a game changer like you've been in the past, I'm expecting you to do that for every single game. The likes of Lamine Yamal, we consider him a game changer because he does it almost every single game. But Vinicius Jr., since 2025, I don't know what's been up with this guy. He's been putting up stinkers. I don't know what is good with him. I don't know if it's his confidence. I don't know if he's just been found out by defenders. I don't know what it's been. But when you're going up against the likes of João Cancelo, who as a Barca fan, I can vouch for this. That guy is such a liability as a defender. Going forward, he's great, but as a defender, he is such a liability. I don't understand why he didn't drive him more, beat him a lot more. Like, he beat him like once or twice in that second half, because in the first half, he did nothing. In the second half, but besides that, he barely caused any threat. Like, I'm just confused as what is going on with Vinicius Jr. Rodrigo on the right side, yet again, just showing that this guy cannot be playing on the right side. Like, he had like one good, like, besides the one pass he made for Gonzalo Garcia, what else did he do? Like, on the right side, he's just not going to cause that impact for you. And it begs the question, is Rodrigo not willing to leave Real Madrid? Because, again, he can definitely say that excuse of, I'm already at the top of Real Madrid. I'm already playing at the highest level. Why would I want to leave? Like Modric said, there's no going up from Real Madrid. You're not going to get any better than Real Madrid. Okay, that could be true. But if you're a superstar talent, if you know in yourself you're a great talent, why won't you bet on yourself and go to another team and be the main guy for them? There's so many teams in Europe that would want a player like Rodrigo. Why doesn't he go out to a different team and prove it? Because, again, at Real Madrid, in your natural position, you already have two players that are ahead of you. As much as Mbappe is playing as a striker, if Mbappe has to play on the left, or if they need someone else to play on the left, they're putting Mbappe over Rodrigo. So I just don't understand why Rodrigo doesn't take that kind of risk. I don't know if he's just comfortable there at Real Madrid. Obviously, he's been there for years now, so he's obviously going to be comfortable playing there. But I don't know. For the caliber of Rodrigo, that the player that he is, I expect a lot more from him. And I know he can offer a lot more, but he just has to go to a different team. Be the star player for a different team. We'll see what his decision is going to come down to in these next couple of years. But I think this season he's going to stay, because XABI Alonso has basically come out a lot saying that he's giving him the vote of confidence, that he trusts him and that he wants to play, keep him for this upcoming season. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully he realizes sooner than later that he has the potential in him, and he should do something different for his career. But yeah, Real Madrid was going at it, trying to get that game winner. But Hilal were very resilient, defending very well until they gave up a penalty for Real Madrid. Penalty for Real Madrid, classic. Another game winner because of a penalty for Real Madrid. What else can you expect? But honestly, it was a penalty. I'm not even going to attempt the guy's name, because I honestly forgot what his name was. But he puts his arm up like this. He hits Fran Garcia in the face, and Fran Garcia starts bleeding inside the box, falls to the ground. It's a foul, because the guy looked back. He saw that Fran Garcia was coming, and he puts his arm up like that. If he put it lower, okay, because you would have covered his body, but he hit him right in the face, so it's a penalty. I don't understand why he even did that, but okay. Penalty para Real Madrid. Federico Valverde steps up, takes the penalty, and he misses. Honestly, I already knew by his body position that he was going to shoot on the left. I was already saying in my mind, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's just like a matter of their body position. You can kind of tell where they're going to go. Sometimes it's hard and difficult to know where they're going to go. Like the way that Neymar takes his penalties, where he starts in the middle and then he drifts, he goes left and he starts running up. But Federico Valverde standing like this, you pretty much already kind of knew that he was going to shoot on the left. At least me, I already knew that he was going on the left. Bono says it, and then boom, the game ends 1-1. Real Madrid couldn't get the win. They couldn't get it over the line, and they only get 1 point in the group stage for the Club World Cup. But a great match overall. Hilal did a great job. We're very resilient. We know when you compare the caliber of players, you expect Real Madrid to just be all over them, but Hilal put up a dogfight today. Is this something that you can definitely say that, if you put them in one of the top 5 leagues, they're going to compete like that consistently? Maybe. Who knows? They definitely showed a level, but honestly, when it comes to this Club World Cup, we've already seen a lot of other teams who we don't consider the best teams, take it up in their level, because when it comes to this kind of competition, they're going to want to show out, and Hilal showed out today. They did well against one of the best sides in Europe, so, credit to them for sure. I'm not going to judge Real Madrid too much in this game just because it's their first game under XABI Alonso. We have to see in the future, later into this competition, because at least for me, I was looking at this game as a friendly. I honestly forgot throughout the whole game that it was for 3 points. It was to get through to the next phase and to the round of 16 or whatever it is of the Club World Cup competition, that they're playing for a trophy. I honestly forgot, because it's in the summer, so I just expect friendlies at this point, right? And I really didn't care about the fact that they're playing for a trophy. I didn't even think about it, because I just consider it as a friendly at this point. But for a lot of other clubs, they consider it as an actual competition and they want to take it serious. Who knows if Real Madrid are going to take it serious? Who knows if they get knocked out, they're going to be like, it's a Club World Cup. Who cares? These are friendlies. Who knows? Who knows how all the fan bases and everyone's going to react if they end up not winning it. We'll see. But I'm not going to fully judge Real Madrid yet. If they get into the later stages, I'll start judging them a lot more, because then they're going to play a lot more of the top teams. So we'll see what they're capable of. But overall, 1-1 tie. Al Hilal did great. Real Madrid, decent. Some decent players. I would give a lot of credit to the likes of Huijsen, to the likes of Tchouaméni, and to the likes of Gonzalo Garcia, who I thought had some great match today. But yeah, besides that, yeah, that's all I can really say about this match. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about the match. Did you think Al Hilal deserved a little bit more? Do you think Real Madrid should deserve a little bit more? Or do you think the result was fair? I thought it was fair, honestly. But yeah, let me know all those things down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification. Hit the notification bell for every time we upload. Share to your friends that love football, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Much love, take care, and peace.